Well, it is truly a thing of allowing. One of the things when I was taking a look at what I wanted to do, automating, that comes naturally for me. It's part of my wiring, you might say, even before I got into it. And at the same time, this whole life and legacy component ended up percolating because of some of the challenges I've been through in the last several years. And systems, habits, processes were how I actually not only maintained my life, but enhanced and upgraded my life. And I was talking about it with friends, with family, with neighbors, with people on Zoom calls. And it resonated with so many people. I was like, wait, this is not happening for me. This is something that people need to be hearing about, need to have the conversation about and explore, because a lot of the times we don't talk about challenges. We don't talk about growth in a productive way. We may be frustrated and commiserate. Well, we don't talk about the beauty and the blessings and the gifts of going through those things. That's an essential component of life. So one of the things that I am curious about is how people are going to go ahead and embrace that component of me, because I'm not just a business owner. I'm not just a professional. I'm a person. And being able to see that side of me and the entirety of me is something that you can do on podcasts that you can't do when you're handing somebody a business card or putting up a billboard type of thing or putting a Google ad up type of situation, which we can talk about those as being rather obsolete and non-relevant these days.
You're really showing that we're more than just the ones and zeros, right? More than just the numbers,
Yes, we are.
more than just the facts. So you piqued my curiosity here. I know that you have worked with organizations and companies of all sizes. When you look at where we are today, because the type of business that I'm doing today is in many ways same as what I was doing earlier, but also in many ways vastly different because times have changed. So when you look at the right fit client for you, or you look at the kind of organizations or businesses or entrepreneurs that get the most value, what are you finding today maybe that is either the same as it always has been? Maybe systems, process, procedures don't change that much because we all need them. And I can tell you just from my own perspective, I've been working on building mine and have hired a team to help me do that and recording myself so they can document the process of the things that I do. I wish I had done that sooner. But better late than never, right? Better to get it started now. I feel like there's probably entrepreneurs who are wise enough at the beginning, or business owners are wise enough at the beginning of their journey to know we've got to document all these things. And then there's those of us who are like, flying by the seat of our pants, building our business. And all of a sudden we get to a point where we have team, and that team is not living in our brain, nor have they had the vast experience that we've had. And we're asking them to do some of those things. And so that's what I've been working on over the last year. And we're probably maybe halfway to where I'd like to be, but at least we're halfway there. So when you look at the type of clientele that work best with you, because we all have our own spice and flavor, and let's say that you and I offer the same services, you and I could go into a room, a business mixer, and even though we in theory are competitors, because we have a different spice and flavor, we could be in that room without there being any challenge because we approach business differently. So when you look at clientele that work best with you, like where you feel like you're in that zone of brilliance with this particular type of client, and whether it's an entrepreneur or whether it's a large organization, nonprofit or mid organization, who are they and they should be beating down your door? Who are they?
They are usually very much visionaries. Now, if you follow the EOS system, you have the visionary, and then you have the integrator, the person who knows how to get things done. And so I'm one of those people that ends up being right 50-50. I will actually be a visionary in one moment, and I'll be the person who gets things done in the other. And so I can translate without all the gobbledygook for visionaries what is actually going on there, not wasting their time into the total details. So one of the things that I do find that I'm attracting and attracted to are visionaries, because they have such great ideas. And the hard piece is getting it done, getting it out there. And at the same time, especially if they've been in business for a while, it happens with solopreneurs, startups, all the way to Fortune 100, because I have built with Fortune 100 companies planes at 35,000 feet, and you're just building it. You're not necessarily documenting it all because it's going to probably change as well. And so being able to go ahead and identify what is that process? What could it be? What should it be? What would be the best solution for that business at this point in time? Not something canned that somebody else had gone ahead and created for the industry, because then you're just cookie cutter. Yeah, because your business, you need a solution for that business and those techniques. Now, definitely leveraging best practices is something that I can bring to the table as well. So being able to go ahead and actually bring that level of expertise for building those things so that that person, that team can go ahead and actually be able to utilize those tools and have those in place and not have to go ahead and be reinventing the wheel all the time. And then you end up having documentation on what the process is, so that when you need to update that process, then it can be updated with the proper tools, the proper people along the way. So it's exciting stuff. I see human behavior. I'm kind of like in the Matrix. So one of the things that happens with that is I can easily see the customer or client journey on how it would go ahead and happen in the least amount of friction for the person who needs to be consuming or buying your products, goods, services, information. And that's kind of magical because I can see those behaviors and be able to anticipate those results so that later we can go ahead and analyze those results and verify that, yeah, this is working the way we want it to, or what do we need to tweak to make it even better.
I'm listening to you, and the word that just is floating in my head is that it sounds like it is an immersive experience, because in order for you to understand the key performance indicators in each department and what are the end results, what needs to come in, what needs to go through the pipeline, what needs to go out, you got to become immersed in that company's organization and in their thought processes and in the way that they think things through in order for them to deliver the product, the service that they have promised their clients that they will deliver to them. And so what is that like? Because is it easy to immerse yourself in certain industries, or are you lover of the actual, that whole workflow, that integrated workflow that you help develop so that the teams can work smarter, more strategic, so there can be better flow? Or is it that there's certain industries that just are interesting to you, and then being able to help function in that inner working or integrating everything so that things aren't in silos. They're all commingled into everything else because they need to be, but not commingled in a way that it's not tangled, right? But actually something that serves the company, the organization, the products, the clients, the team members, the employees best. And I'm curious about your process when you go in, because the word immersive just pops in my head.
Immersive and intensive. Absolutely. So one of the things that I do is I make it easy for decision makers and team members to not get bogged down into the usual process that happens when they're working with a marketing firm or agency, because of the ways that I do this. So I'm pretty quick on the draw. First things first, we always have a fit call. No matter what, I always want to make sure that we're a good fit so that we can actually go ahead and solve a problem. If not, that's a complimentary 20-minute call, and I can go ahead and guide them to a more appropriate solution. Then the next step is my Imperfect Path to Profit plan.
What a great name.
Absolutely, because what is it that gets in the way usually? Perfection. And with more people on the team, more people wanting to have that perfection.
You're singing my song, Kathy. You're singing my song.
Exactly. It is. And it's such a fun song because it's like, what if 60 to 80% actually did the trick and did the things, and that you did that 20 to 40% didn't matter anyway. Right. And so it takes me to a different frame of thinking. Absolutely. Efficiencies, effectiveness is the most key. And so what I do with that is it's a 2-hour interview. Now, if there's teams members involved, we add some time, a 2-hour interview that allows me to go ahead and take a look at that business in its entirety. Not only marketing and sales, but the business operations. How do things internally, how do you deliver on that promise? How do you go ahead and make sure that somebody's going to become a raving fan of what you're doing? It's that quick, because of the techniques that I use to go ahead and delve into that brain dump of information and ask the relevant questions that will get us to the solutions. And then I follow up with a briefing that we go over, we tweak, we make sure I'm on target because I'm a fact finder quick start. If I have 40% to 60% of the facts, I'm ready to rock. I'm ready to go. And if I'm going in the wrong direction for a company, that doesn't work. It's not going to be
No,
good.
and you'll
So,
find out soon enough,
yeah.
quick enough.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But I'm finding out then. We're doing it in real time. We're tweaking that, making sure everything's on target. And so I can diagnose where the opportunities and the gaps are and being able to come up with a recommendation on what would be necessary to go ahead and get them to the goals and whether it should be in phases or not, which is always important because a lot of people, "Oh, I just want to do, this will be the silver bullet for all my problems." Like, maybe not. More likely it'll be in phases. And what they can do with that is they can do it themselves. They can have another firm, agency, whatever, do that for them. They've got a roadmap, or they can work with us. And being able to have the confidence that this is what can be done and this is how we would approach it and what it would take to make that happen is so key because it's like they just spent 3 hours of time versus the hundreds of hours trying to noodle through all these things and just to even come up with what should we be doing quickly.
The key is for you because it's second nature and it's your zone of brilliance. You can come up with these things and see the obvious and spot those patterns and then deliver. Whereas like anyone else, we're going to have to go.
Yeah.
Oh, too close?
No, we're too close to the problem.
And we can't see
Right?
what we can't see. Yeah,
Can't
for
see,
sure.
yeah.
And yeah, that's again, singing my song. I'm glad I asked you that question because I think a lot of times people think about systems, process, procedures, integrated systems, all that kind of stuff. And it's kind of like white noise or a wall of text or their eyes glaze over and they don't understand that creativeness, that zone of genius that they have could be better served if their infrastructure was set up in a way to allow them to serve it better.